Good afternoon. Welcome to day 11 of the Faculty Development Program on Transformative Learning through Interdisciplinary AI and ML applications in emerging domains. We are pleased to begin today's session and look forward to another enriching academic interaction. It is my privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's session, Professor Shashi Kant Gupta, a renowned academician and researcher in the field of computer science and engineering. Professor Gupta has over a decade of enriched academic and research experience with expertise in cloud computing, big data analytics, Internet of Things, computational intelligence, and their applications across multidisciplinary domains. He is currently researcher at Eudoxia Research University, USA, and holds several international academic positions, including adjunct faculty at the Victorian Institute of Technology, Australia, adjunct professor at Lincoln University College, Malaysia, and research fellow at INTI International University, Malaysia. He is also associated with leading institutions across India, Nigeria, Uzbekistan, and Taiwan, reflecting his strong global academic engagements. Professor Gupta is the founder and CEO of CREP Private Limited, where he leads innovative research and software development initiatives across multiple sectors. We are confident that today's session will provide valuable insights and inspire meaningful discussions among participants. With this, I respectfully invite Professor Shashikant Gupta to begin the session. Sir, the virtual platform is yours.
Thank you, ma'am, for providing me this opportunity to speak in this faculty development program initiative from Integral University. I think come from computer science, computer applications department. Thank you so much. So let me share my presentation just before starting with the topic. So now I'm sharing my presentation to start with my topic. Can I share, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now my presentation is visible to all of you. May I start the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now for this faculty development program, the today's topic is best practices for integrating ethical considerations into academic research. It is one of the very important topic that is basically, starting with different kind of researches, whatever we are doing. So let us start with this ethical considerations. So first one that is very important, the introduction to the ethical considerations in the academic research. So what exactly ethical consideration? So ethics in academic research involves moral principles guiding responsible conduct, ensuring integrity, respect, and fairness, while protecting the participants and advancing knowledge. So it's basically the ethical consideration. So it's very important within the academic research. Now I'm moving to the foundational ethical principles in research. What exactly the principles within the research, if we describe with the ethical considerations? So first is very important respect for persons that we called as autonomy. So this principle emphasizes protecting participants' autonomy and dignity, ensuring voluntary participation without coercion, and safeguarding privacy and cultural sensitivity. So it's very important to describe the beneficence and non-maleficence respected to the ethical principles in research. So research must maximize benefits and minimize risks to the participants with thorough risk-benefit assessment, preventing measures to avoid physical, psychological, and social harm. So it's very important, these two parts, that is the beneficence and the non-maleficence. Justice and fairness. So fair distribution of research benefits and burdens is essential, avoiding exploitation of vulnerable groups, and ensuring equitable participant selection and benefit sharing. So justice and fairness is also one of the part that we need to take care as a principles in research with respect to the ethical consideration. Now moving to the next one, that is the establishing an ethical research framework, how it can be developed. So here we have IRBs that we call as institutional review boards and ethics committees. So IRBs basically are administrative bodies that protect human research subjects by reviewing protocols to ensure the ethical standards and regulatory compliance that is basically met before research begins. So IRBs are very important, institutional review boards. Second is role and responsibilities of IRBs, that is the institutional review boards. So IRBs review and approve research proposals, minimize risks, ensure informed consent, monitor ongoing studies, whatever going on, and provide the ethical guidance to safeguard participants' right and welfare. So you need to must aware what exactly the IRBs that we called as the institutional review boards. It's very important within the institute so that a review will be done in proper way without any kind of discrepancies or any kind of conflict. So we need to establish some IRBs into the an ethics committee within the institution for the benefit of the researchers as well as the ethical concerns. Now moving to the informed consent, what best practices basically it is. So core elements of informed consent, this is basically, informed consent requires provider clear comprehensive information about the research purpose, procedures, risk, benefits, and alternatives. You can say ensure participant understand and voluntary agree with respect to the research. Second is the ensuring participant understanding use, that is basically the plan language, formatting aids, and you can say teach back methods to confirm participants comprehensive and allowing the sufficient time for questions and considerations. So the ensuring participant understanding is also very important within the informed consents. Third is the maintaining voluntariness in consent. So consent must be a free from coercion or you can say undue influence, with participant informed of their right to withdraw anytime without penalty or respecting their autonomy throughout. So it's very important to describe the informed consent based on three different criteria. That is the core elements of the informed consent, ensuring participant understanding, and maintaining voluntariness in consent. Now moving to the next one, that is the confidentiality and privacy protection with respect to the significance of data confidentiality. So data confidentiality is a core ethical principle that basically protects participant privacy and ensure research integrity by preventing unauthorized data access or misuse. Second is the key techniques for privacy protection. So techniques include data anonymization, access controls, secure storage, confidentiality agreements, coded identifiers, staff training to minimize the privacy risks. So confidentiality is also one of the part that is basically taken into an account with respect to the privacy protection. So data confidentiality and the key techniques that basically describe with respect to the privacy protection. Now, next is avoiding conflicts of interest. It's a very important part within the academic research. First is the identifying potential conflicts. What exactly the conflicts within the research? So conflicts of interest occurs when personal interest clash with professional duties, like risking bias and compromise decision making. You have heard about the review process. Okay, so review process basically, if it will be compromised, means the whole process is negligence with respect to the true review. Okay, so the important thing is to identify the potential conflicts. What are different potential conflicts? So we need to just identify it initially. So these can be, financial, personal, or professional. Recognizing such conflicts is essential to preserve the research integrity and the public trust. So these days, very much many Scopus database journals are basically de-indexed because of this compromised, review process within the system, just like the special issues and all. So we need to just identify the potential conflicts initially before, reviewing any kind of research work. Second is this disclosure and management strategies. So effective management requires transparent disclosure, clear policies, education, centralized systems, conflict management plans, regular monitoring, and fostering an ethical culture to ensure compliance and uphold research objectivity. So it's very important to avoid the conflicts of interest initially with respect to the research. Now moving to the next one, that is the ethical data collection methods. What exactly it is? So ensuring accuracy and honesty in data collection, it's very important to collect the data, whatever required as per centric of your research, because the noisy data, the wasted data is not included into the research. So we need to ensure the accuracy and honesty in data collection, whatever data we are collecting from the public or real world. So ethical data collection requires meticulous planning and transparency to guarantee accuracy and reliability. Researchers must avoid fabrication, falsification, and manipulation. Maintaining through records to enable reproducibility and verification. So it's very important whatever we are basically using as a data. So we need to just verify, we just need to authenticate from the data sources, whatever we are taking. Avoiding fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism, one of the major part, because nowadays many researchers are basically copying some part of different papers and just pasted in their own research. So many cases I have found within the community with the good journals as well. The main researchers basically given that consent that some of the data has been copied from their research paper which already been published. So we need to just avoid these kind of fabrication, falsification, and we need to remove the plagiarism, whatever it is. And nowadays, the artificial intelligence content is also one of the part which we need to take care of. Because whenever you go for SCI Q1 research papers to be published, so you just need to careful about the novelty of the work, quality of the work, and the plagiarism and AI content. If these four parameters are clear with respect to SCI Q1 research papers, means you will get your paper published with some kind of strong review from the review boards, whatever assigned from the journal side. So avoiding fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism is one of the part that we need to take care of. Research ethics prohibit dishonest practices such as fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. So upholding originality and proper attribution preserves research credibility and institutional reputation also. So it's very important, if you go for a research, you need to just careful about the data collection, that must be ethical, and whatever you are just taking, that must be plagiarism free. It must be AI free. Whatever content, if you are using by the help of the AI content, you just need to mention proper in the proper way, because journal is asking for the same also whenever you are just going to use any AI content into it. Okay, so it's very important to just describe your ethical data, and you just need to collect it by the help of these kind of different policies. Okay, so you need to just aware of these policies first. Now, going to the next one, that is the responsible data management and sharing. So, data storage and security best practices, what exactly it is? If you implement secure encrypted storage and access controls, detailed records, regular backups, and comply with the legal policies to protect data integrity and the participants' confidentiality. So it's very important to store whatever data you have. You must have data storage that must be concerned with some security aspects. Second is the ethical considerations in the data sharing. So ensure informed consents, you can say anonymize the data, use control access, you can say repositories, and maintain the transparency to protect participant privacy and uphold the ethical standards. So it's very important to describe with the responsible data management with respect to the sharing of the data into the system. Now moving to the next one, that is the addressing ethical issues in collaborative research. Collaborative research is nowadays very famous. Just like defining the roles and responsibilities in multi-author projects. So you just need to clear definition of each contributor's duties in the data handling, authorship, and accountability. That is crucial to maintain ethical standards and prevent disputes in collaborative research. Collaborative research means if you have global collaboration with respect to the co-authors, so you must define exactly what contributors basically given the contributee with respect to the data handling or with respect to supervision of the data, whatever it is, or some kind of they have given just idea or methods or something else. So you just need to clarify it in very beginning. So, whenever you just submit your research paper with multi-author projects, so they ask what are different roles and responsibilities of contributors. So you just need to, address the ethical issues, whatever, generating initially while submitting your research paper, whether it will be Web of Science or Scopus based journals. So ensuring cultural sensitivity in international research. So you just need to ensure with this part also respecting the cultural values and adapting ethical practices to diverse international contexts, fosters the trust and compliance, enhancing research validity and acceptance. So it's very important to address the ethical issues in collaborative research, whether it is national or global. Now moving to the next one, that is the ethical considerations in publication and reporting. First one is very important, that is preventing duplicate publication and plagiarism. So you just need to ensure maintaining the originality is essential by avoiding duplicate publication and properly citing all sources to uphold the research integrity and prevent ethical breaches. Because I'm affiliated with many different journals that are good enough from different countries like Singapore, US, Uzbekistan, Malaysia, Australia, London. So I just got one of the point within the ethical consideration in publication and reporting is that you just need to maintain the originality. Okay. Because whenever you cite the sources, whatever you have taken from somebody else, you just need to ensure the correct citation of that particular data, whatever you have taken from third party. So it's very important to take the correct, source citation of data, whatever you have cited in your research. It's very important because every journal is checking each and every citations whatever you are going to cite in your research paper. So it's very important whenever you just take the source from third party, that is basically the part of the ethical considerations. So publication and reporting basically judge with respect to the citations, whatever sources you have cited, it must be clear and to the point or centric to the content, whatever you have taken into the research paper. Second is ensuring transparent reporting of research. So you just need to clear and accurate disclosure of methods, data, and limitations is vital for reproducibility and accountability and trustworthy scientific, communications. So I just checked one of the part also that we called as a data availability statement. Many researchers are not going to write the correct data availability statement, and they are not concerning with the importance of data availability into the research paper. Because whenever you take the external data source from third party, may it be Kaggle or any other sources, so you just assign the web link of that particular data source whatever you have taken into your research. So you just need to write the technical aspect statement of the data availability that is basically mandatory in your research. So many of the researchers are not going to write the correct one. So I have checked many, research paper that is from very good journals, impact factor like 7.2 or more also. So this is basically one of the reporting I just reported with respect to the data availability statements. They basically mistake with respect to this kind of data availability statement. So we need to just write the correct data availability statement into the research paper. This is also one of the part of ethical considerations. So make sure about that also. Now moving to the next one, that is the training and education and research ethics. So significance of continuous ethics training, it's very important because ongoing ethics education fosters integrity and responsibility, ensuring researchers stay updated on evolving standards and ethical principles. Available ethics and training resources. So researchers have access to online modules, formal courses, and institutional review board support, workshops, and foundational ethical guidance with respect to the guidelines to enhance ethical awareness. So it's very important to describe the training and education in research ethics before starting with the kind of research. Moving to the next one, that is the case studies, ethical challenges, and resolutions. So, real world ethical dilemmas in research. So, ethical challenges in research involves respect for persons, beneficence, and justice, especially with vulnerable populations and risk benefit assessments. Outcome and lessons learned. So, it's basically rigorous informed consent, conflicts of interest, transparency, and continuous oversight reduce misconduct and enhance the research integrity. Now, ethics in emerging research areas like ethical challenges in artificial intelligence and big data. It's a very important part nowadays. So, AI and big data research, must address bias, fairness, transparency, and privacy to ensure ethical integrity and protect the individuals. Data stewardship and privacy, rigorous protocols for data collection, anonymization, and informed consent are essential to balance the societal, benefits with individual privacy rights. Third is that is the human subject protections in digital research. So digital research requires clear informed consent, special protections for vulnerable groups, and evolving institutional review boards oversight to safeguard participants' rights. So ethics in emerging research areas, basically one of the major part that belongs to ethical challenges in AI and big data, data stewardship, and privacy, human subject protections, and digital research. Now moving to the community engagement and ethical research. So basically one of the part where community involvement in research design basically takes an account with respect to engaging communities early in research design aligns studies with local values and priorities, fostering respect, transparency, and trust while enhancing ethical rigor and social value. So respecting community values and practices, it's also priorities. It's also very important with respect to this. Ethical research requires honoring, community beliefs and norms, ensuring fairness, or you can say protecting confidentiality and maintaining ongoing communication to build trust and accountability. So community engagement and the ethical research also very important to describe with respect to different kind of involvement of the community with respect to the research design and also with respect to the values and priorities. Now moving to the next one, that is the monitoring and auditing ethical compliance, also very important aspects with respect to the methods for ongoing ethical oversight. So ongoing ethical oversight involves regular reviews, or you can say internal audits and compliance checks by institutional review boards and ethics committees to ensure adherence to ethical principles and protect participant rights. Roles of audits and compliance checks. So audit verifies the protocol adherence, informed consent, and privacy, while compliance checks ensure transparent, sorry, transparent reporting and help identify and address ethical breaches promptly. So monitoring and auditing ethical compliance is also required after this ethical considerations. Now moving to the next one, that is the balancing scientific advancement and ethical responsibility. So managing publication and innovation pressures, it's a very important part. So researchers, face pressure to publish quickly and innovate, which can challenge adherence to ethical standards and research integrity. You very much know, all of you, that we need to publish 2 or 3 papers that must be Scopus index. So somewhat, we have pressure, we need to publish it, okay, and very fast. So it is basically one of the ethical responsibility. We need to just give time to the research. Otherwise the research cannot be done in a very short period, or in a very short period we cannot publish also. Okay, so we need to give the proper time for writing the research, for publishing the research. Okay, there is no fast track method into the research while you write it or you just publish it. Okay, so you need to just go with the 3 to 4 months review cycle that has been done, already done from many different journals, and many are also applying 3 to 4 month cycle for the review of the researches. So these are basically the pressures that is basically to the researchers to publish very fast, or to do the research within the particular time. May it be 6 months or 1 year. Okay, so we need to just give time, sufficient time to write the research in a good direction and publish it within the timeline. Okay, so yeah, these are basically one of the part, very very important part. So researchers always face pressure to publish quickly and innovate. So how it is possible that they can publish quickly, and also it must be innovative, so which can basically challenge adherence to the ethical standards and research integrity. So frameworks for ethical decision making. So ethical frameworks guide researchers to balance scientific benefits with duties to participants, emphasizes respect, beneficence, and justice. So it's a very important concern with respect to the balancing scientific advancement and ethical responsibilities. So ethical use of human and animal subjects. So it's also one of the part that need to be take care. So guidelines for humane treatment and animal subjects. So animal research must follow ethical principles and legal regulations, emphasizing the 3 R's that we called as replacement, reduction, and refinement to minimize pain and distress. So approval from oversight bodies and proper care by trained personnel are mandatory for these kind of guidelines for human treatment for animal subjects. So second is the ethical recruitment and treatment of human participants. So human subjects are required respect for autonomy, informed consent, risk minimization, fairness in selection, and confidentiality. Institutional review boards ensure ethical compliance and participant protection. That basically the part of IRBs. Now moving to the next one, that is the addressing bias and ensuring fairness in research. So recognizing and mitigating researcher bias, it's very important. Researcher bias can affect objectively, in all research stages. Awareness, standardized procedures, blinding independent review, and ethics training are key to minimize the biases. And second is promoting diversity and inclusion in research samples. So fair research requires diverse participant representation, inclusive recruitment, culturally sensitive content, and attention to power dynamics ensure equitability and valid outcomes. So these days, very important, the diverse country participation within the research. So it will also increase the citation, overall ranking of the institution, because cross citations of, global researchers. So these days, community researches, international researches are basically going on nowadays, because also one of the part, multidisciplinary domain researches are also going on, just like mathematical researcher are basically collaborating with computer science researchers, and as well as from physics, or you can say any other like biology, like biotechnology. They are basically collaborating with computer science, also with many other different domains. So because of multi-domain, multidisciplinary researches, and these are very important because of increasing the citations from worldwide researchers, as well as improving the ranking within the boards. Okay, may it be QS World Ranking. So it's very important to take part in international researches and collaborate with good professors from different countries. It's one of the part that basically increase the research ranking of the overall institute, as well as the individual, as H index and I-10 index. Now, moving to the next one, that is transparency and accountability in research. So openness in methodology and funding. So transparency requires clear disclosure of research design and funding sources to ensure reproducibility and prevent conflicts of interests. So it's very important to describe the transparency and accountability in the research. Accountability mechanism. So accountability is maintained, through ethics committees, IRBs, that we called as institutional review boards, audits, and transparent reporting of all research outcomes. It's very, very important to describe these two parts within the research. Now moving to the next one, that is the ethical considerations in research funding. It is also one of the hotspot topic nowadays, because many of you want research project funding from different countries. I also have research project funding from many different countries like Germany, China, but they demand Indian origin with European passports. And somewhat want Indian origin to be, live in any other country, so they can part in research project funding. Okay, so you can contact if you want some kind of research project funding related to any kind of, research, may it be AI, robotics, or latest topics. So ethical consideration in research funding, like impact of funding on research integrity. So funding sources may influence research design and reporting, requiring researchers to protect the independence of their work to maintain validity. Necessity of financial disclosure. So researchers must transparently, disclose all financial support to allow assessment of potential conflicts and ensure impartiality. It's very important. And for APC funding for SCI Q1 research papers, I am also giving some sponsoring university APC funding. If you have good SCI Q1 quality paper, we can fund those, researches from our side. So this is also one of the part that you can also ask after this presentation, no issue. Now moving to the next one, that is the ethical challenges. Yeah, developing institutional policies for research ethics. So this is basically one of the part, like key components of effective ethics policies. What exactly the components? So effective policies define ethical principles, scope, roles, review processes, informed consent, confidentiality, conflict management, training, and compliance monitoring. Second is the leadership's role in ethical research. So it's also very important. Leaders champions ethics. It's basically allocate resources, model behavior, encourage dialogue, and support a continuous policy improvement to foster ethical research environments. Now moving to the next one, that is the ethical challenges in interdisciplinary researches, which is very important. So navigating different ethical standards. So interdisciplinary research faces challenges due to varying ethical norms and regulatory frameworks across disciplines, requiring coordinated, approaches to resolve conflicts. It's very important because if you just go with the interdisciplinary researches. And second is the building consensus in ethical practices. So clear communication and shared ethical frameworks among researchers help harmonize the responsibilities and ensure adherence to high ethical standards. So it's also very important to building the consensus on ethical practices. Third is ensuring responsible research conduct. So, ongoing ethics trainings, transparency, and adaptability foster trust and uphold core ethical principles across interdisciplinary teams. Next, very important role of technology in enhancing research ethics. Role of technology. Technology is one of the major concern related to any kind of research ethics. So, what exactly the role of technology? So, digital tools enhancing consent and data protection, like digital tools improves the informed consent clarity and data privacy through e-signatures, encryption, and automated compliance monitoring, ensuring participant rights and research integrity. Digital signatures nowadays going on, that is e-signatures, and which basically authenticate one's like maybe it is certificate or any kind of official document, and we have authorized e-signature from the authority. So it's very important the digital tools that basically improves the informed consent clarity with respect to the data privacy through this e-signature encryption and automated compliance monitoring. And ethical challenges for research automation, because automation accelerates the research but raises ethical concerns like algorithmic bias, transparency issues, and reduced human ethical oversight, and require strict evaluation and supervision related to it. So it's also one of the concern with respect to the ethical challenges for research automation. Now, moving to the next one, that is the promoting ethical leadership in research teams, because ethical leadership is one of the part within the research teams, whatever we have. So, key traits of ethical leaderships: ethical leaders exhibit honesty, fairness, respect, and a strong commitment to ethical research conduct, fostering open communication and compliance with the regulations. It's very important to describe the traits with respect to the ethical leaderships. Training to foster ethical leadership. So institutions provide ongoing education through workshops and seminars to equip leaders with skills to handle ethical dilemmas and promote a positive ethical climate. Now moving to the next one, the global perspective on research ethics. It's very important nowadays, which I already told that we have a global contributor and international contributor within the research. So global variations in ethical standards. It's basically ethical standards in research differ worldwide due to diverse legal frameworks, cultural norms, and societal values requiring culturally sensitive approaches. Second is the universal ethical principles. So, despite variations, universal principles like respect for persons, beneficence, and justice from the foundation of ethical research globally. Third is the harmonizing ethics in international research. So, international collaborations requires harmonizing ethics through adherence to universal principles, local approvals, culturally adapted consent, and community engagement. Moving to the next one, the ethical considerations in research dissemination. So, responsible communication of research findings. So, researchers must communicate findings accurately, avoiding sensationalism or misrepresentation to ensure the public receives factual and balanced information. So avoiding sensationalization and misrepresentation. So ethical dissemination requires presenting research outcomes without exaggeration or distortion, supporting informed decision making, and maintaining trust. So ethical consideration in research dissemination is one of the part that is also one of important aspects. So next is handling ethical issues in retrospective research. So consent and privacy challenges in secondary data use, it's also one of the part. So retrospective research must address consent and privacy issues since data were collected for other purposes. So researchers, must protect confidentiality and may seek consent waivers from ethics committees and, when direct consent is not feasible. So it's also very important aspect. Next is the ethical review requirements for retrospective studies. So institutional review boards that we call as IRBs evaluate the retrospective studies based on data, identifiability and risk level. So applying the exempt, expedited or full review processes to ensure ethical compliance and data protection. Sorry. Now, moving to the next one, that is ethics in research involving children and minors. So, spatial protections and consent procedures. So, research with minors, requires parental consent and minor assent when, possible, ensuring information is age appropriate and content is, voluntary and informed. Just like whenever a children is opening some account, so parental, involvement is there for the same. So that just like that. Assessing risk and benefits for minors. So studies must balance potential benefits against risk with rigorous, ethical review and safeguards for vulnerable children to minimize harm. Now moving to the next one, that is addressing ethical issues in social science research. It's also one of the part. Sorry. So confidentiality in sensitive research, it's basically maintaining the confidentiality in crucial is basically crucial in social science research, especially with the sensitive topics. Researchers must anonymize the data, secure storage, and limit access to protect the participant privacy and foster trust. So it's very important confidentiality in the sensitive research. Ethical management of researcher participant relationships. So respecting the participant autonomy and avoiding the coercion are essential. So researchers should maintain professional boundaries, ensuring the voluntary participation and create a transparent, respectful environment. So ethical issues in social sciences also, research also want these kind of confidentiality in the sensitive research. Sorry, in ethical or you can say ethical management for researchers. Now moving to the next one, that is ethical considerations in clinical trials, because many of you going to do the research in clinical trials related to healthcare or any other. So these considerations are very important because whenever you just take trials from different patients, so you just need to ensure the ethical considerations. You just need to take the permissions from third party to take the data. And if you just going to do some clinical trials, so you just need to aware that this study is going on that person, and they are basically aware of that research, whatever you are doing, and you are just noting into your research. So ethical consideration in clinical trials are one of the major part, ensuring the participant safety and rights. So ethical clinical research priorities basically participant safety through principle like social value, scientific validity, fair selection, favorable risk benefit ratio or independent review, informed consent, and respect for particulars, autonomy and privacy. Then second is the transparency in trial registration and reporting. It's very important. Transparency must be there Clinical trials require transparent registration on honest reporting of methods, outcomes, and adverse events to ensure accountability, prevents bias, and maintain the public trust overseen by ethical review boards. So it's very important to describe these kind of ethical considerations in the clinical trials, whatever we are doing. Now, moving to the next one, that is promoting reproducibility and integrity in research. So, significance of reproducibility in ethical science. So, reproducibility ensures independent validation of research findings and reinforcing scientific credibility and preventing misleading conclusions. So, it's very important to describe these kind of significance with respect to reproducibility in the ethical sciences. So enhancing transparency and verification practices. So clear reporting, ethical data management, and responsible sharing. That is basically promote transparency, enabling accurate, scrutiny and replication of research. Now, the very important aspect, the ethical use of artificial intelligence in research. That basically bias and fairness in artificial intelligence algorithms. So AI algorithms can, unintentionally reinforce existing biases, so leading to unfair outcomes. So ethical research requires proactive detection and mitigation of such biases to ensure equitable treatment for all groups. So it's a very important part. Transparency and explainability of artificial intelligence methods. So transparency means, openly sharing artificial intelligence development and data usage, while explainability allows understanding artificial intelligence decision processes. Both are crucial for trust and ethical evaluation of AI research. Sorry. So transparency and explainability of the artificial intelligence methods are also very important, and that must be, open, and it must be shareable with respect to the AI developments and data usages, whatever we are doing. And what exactly the explainability that basically allows understanding artificial intelligence decision processes. So both the concerns are crucial for trust and ethical evaluation of artificial intelligence research. Now moving to the next one, that is ethical challenges in environmental research. So balancing, research goals with ecological impact. So researchers must minimize ecological harm while, pursuing the scientific knowledge, ensuring methods do not disrupt habitats or, degrade environments. So ethical research balance, benefits with conservation and sustainability. So it's a very important part. Engaging stakeholders and indigenous communities. So, ethical research requires genuine collaboration with indigenous and local communities, respecting their sovereignty, culture, and knowledge to build trust and ensure, mutual benefits. So, ethical challenges in environmental research are also very important with respect to these kind of aspects, which basically balance the research goals with ecological impact and engaging the stakeholders and indigenous communities. Now, moving to the next one, that is ethics in research involving indigenous peoples. So, respecting sovereignty and cultural heritage. So, we need to just, research must honor indigenous peoples' right to, self-determination, governance, and cultural preservations, and acknowledging, historical exploitation. And collaborative and participatory research approaches, because, engaging the indigenous communities as equal partners throughout research fosters mutual respect, shared decision making, and empowerment. So it's very important to describe the ethics in research involving indigenous peoples. Moving to the next one, that is developing the personal ethical awareness as a researcher. So, reflective practices for ethical decision making. So, researchers must engage in continuous reflection to assess the moral implications of their decisions and ensure the alignment with ethical standards. Second is the recognizing personal biases and limitations, because awareness of unconscious biases and personal limitations enables researchers to seek guidance and uphold honesty, fairness, and respect. So it's very important. Now, moving to the next one, that is ethical consideration in survey research. Survey research, minimizing harm and bias in survey design, because surveys should be, designed with neutral, sensitive questions to avoid distress and bias, respecting cultural and contextual factors. Because, whenever we take the survey, it must be based on some novel work and based on the natural parameters, whatever we are taking in. So the point-to-point data that must be collected with respect to the survey, ensuring voluntary participation and anonymity. So participation must be, voluntary with informed consent, and anonymity with must be protected through data anonymization and secure storage. Now, next is addressing plagiarism and academic misconduct. It's a very important concern nowadays, because many concerns has been raised from different worldwide researchers. I just got one to two latest, these kind of challenges from worldwide researchers. The researchers has been, copied the content and then they used in their own research work, and work also being, compromised with the review from the review committee, and the research already been published. So addressing plagiarism and academic misconduct is one of the important aspect within the research. So defining plagiarism and its consequences. Plagiarism involves, using others ideas or words without proper credit, including copying and paraphrasing without citation. Consequences include reputation damage, publication retraction, funding loss, and academic penalties. So nowadays we are seeing many, retraction, publication retraction because of these kind of, issues, academic misconduct and addressing the plagiarism. So I think you have already seen these kind of aspects nowadays, which is basically the consequences with respect to the, reputation damage, publication retraction, and funding loss. If you have taken funding from third party, means the funding loss is also there. Academic penalties are also there. So we need to just take care of these kind of, academic misconduct with respect to doing novel research. Uh, we need to take care of the plagiarism AI content as well. So preventive measures and detection tools. Preventive focuses on ethics, education, and clear guidance, while detection relies on plagiarism software combined with human judgment. Institutional policies ensure fair investigation and sanctions. So it's very important. Now moving to the next one, that ethical issues in research with disabled participants. So accessibilities and accommodation considerations. So one or two candidates from our postdoctoral from Lincoln University College, Malaysia, is also a disabled participant. So they are basically seeking help for, submitting the manuscript. They are doing everything, writing research idea, everything they are doing, but they are asking for help and support for, submitting the manuscript or collecting the data or something like that. Okay. So ethical issues in research with disabled participants are also very important, because we have seen these kind of participants in any kind of, researches. This is the live example. We have two or three participants. Those are disabled participants in the postdoctoral from Lincoln University College, Malaysia. That is the LGPR, Lincoln Global Postdoctoral and Researcher Program. So accessibility and accommodation considerations. So research must ensure, inclusion, participation by the providing, necessary modifications like alternative communication formats, accessible venues, and adaptive technology in respect to autonomy and dignity. Informed consent adaptation. So it's also, very important. Consent processes should use clear language and multiple formats, involve legal representatives if needed, and continuously assess, understanding to protect the vulnerable participants. So ethical issues in research with disabled, participants are also one of the important concerns in that. Moving to the next one, that is the ethical use of social media in research. It's also one of the major concern nowadays. Privacy and consent in social media data collection. So researchers must carefully, consider users' privacy rights and obtain the informed consent, especially when data includes, identifiable or sensitive information, like balancing ethical concerns with respect to the research goals. Second is managing public versus private information. So, distinguishing between public and private social media data is essential. Respecting the privacy settings and anonymizing data to protect participant identities and research disseminations. Now, moving to the next one, that is the ethical considerations in longitudinal studies. So, sustaining participant engagement and consent. So, continuous communication is essential to, reaffirm informed consent and ensure the participants remain willing throughout the study. Regular reminders of withdrawal rights and transparent updates on new information support informed decision making. So ensuring data security for long-term storage. So robust data protection measures such as encryption, access control, secure backups are critical to safeguard the sensitive participant information over extended periods. So transparency about data handling and respect participant autonomy. These are very important aspects related to the ethical consideration in longitudinal studies. Now moving to the next one, that is promoting equity in research participation. So inclusive recruitment strategies. So researchers should design recruitment to, intentionally include diverse and unrepresentative groups, avoiding the, exclusion based on convenience or, accessibilities. So overcoming participation barriers, address structural, cultural, economic, and accessibility barriers by using culturally, sensitive methods, providing clear information, and offering accommodations and supports. Next is the ethical consideration in genetic research. So genetic research are nowadays very hot spot. So privacy and confidentiality of genetic information. So researchers must implement a strong safeguard to protect genetic data from unauthorized access, preventing misuse that could, cause discrimination or stigmatization. So it's a very important part. So informed consent for genetic testing and data use. So informed consent, requires clear communication about testing purposes, risk, benefits, data storage, sharing, and applications for family members. Next is handling ethical issues in big data research, how we can handle it. So consent challenges with large data sets. It's basically, obtaining explicit informed consent that is difficult to due to, the volume and diversity of the data sources requiring alternative consent models like, broad or tiered consent with transparency. Data anonymization and re-identification risk. So anonymized data can be, re-identified, necessitating robust privacy protection, such as data minimization and advanced anonymization techniques to safeguard the individual privacy. With respect to this ethical issues in big data research, ethical data governance and responsibility is also one of the part. So ethical data handling requires transparent governance, secure storage, controlled access, and accountability balance research benefits with protecting individual rights. Next is the ethical responsibilities and peer review. Peer review is one of the part. It's an publication in journal. So ethical responsibilities in peer review. It's a very important confidentiality and the impartiality in peer review. So reviewers must maintain strict confidentiality of unpublished manuscripts and provide unbiased evaluations free from personal interest or conflicts. These days, you have heard about one of the major, publisher Hindavi. So the review board was compromised from that particular. So that's why this has been demolished within the market. It is acquired by Wiley nowadays. So ethical responsibilities in peer review is very important. It must not be compromised with review cycle. Whatever being done with respect to the peer review, it must be, reviewers must maintain the strict confidentiality of the unpublished manuscript and provide the unbiased evaluations free from personal interest or conflicts. It's a very important part. Managing conflicts of interest, so reviewers should proactively, disclose any financial, personal, or academic conflicts, and recuse themselves if necessary to preserve the review integrity. It's very important. Now moving to the next one, that is ethical consideration in research with refugees and displaced persons. So vulnerability and protection measures. So refugees face trauma and unstable conditions, require enhanced safeguard to ensure voluntary participation and minimize the harm. Culturally sensitive consent processes. It's basically, consent must be adopted to participants' language and cultural context, ensuring the comprehensive and avoiding coercion. So ethical consideration in research with refugee and displaced person is also one of the part that needs to be taken care of. Next is ethical use of incentives in research participation. So balancing motivation and coercion. So incentives should motivate participation without impairing voluntary informed consent or exploiting vulnerable populations. Transparency about incentives. So participant must clearly informed about the nature, amount, timing, and conditions of incentives to maintain trust and informed consent. So incentive is one of the policy in the research participation because of this ethical use. Next is addressing ethical challenges in field research. Field research is one of the part nowadays very hotspot. So ensuring safety and respect in field research, researchers must assess risk such as political instability and health hazards. So while honoring local community values and building trust through transparency communication. So adhering to legal and cultural norms is also one of the part. Compliance with local laws and cultural sensitivity are essential, involving understanding, customs and collaborating with local partners to ensure ethical research conduct. Next is the ethical considerations in research involving deception. So justification and minimization of deception. So deception must, be scientifically justified with no viable alternatives, minimized in scope and duration, and must not, cause harm or distress to the participants. And debriefing participants. So, participants should be thoroughly debriefed promptly after the study. So, explaining the true purpose, reasons for deception, and addressing any concern to restore the trust. So, it's very important with respect to the research that involves the deception. Next is the promoting open science while maintaining ethics. So, responsible sharing of data and materials. So, open science promotes transparent sharing of data and materials while ensuring compliance with legal and institutional privacy policies to protect participant rights. Second is the protecting participant confidentiality. So researchers must anonymize data and obtain informed consent to prevent re-identification risk and maintain trust in open data practices. So promoting open science while maintaining ethics is also one of the part that is, responsible for sharing of data and materials and protecting participants' confidentiality. Next is ethical challenges in research during public health emergencies. It is also one of the part that needs to be taken care of. Accelerated ethical review in emergencies like public health emergencies requires, expedited review processes by institutional review boards, that is IRBs, to initiate the studies swiftly and mentally, maintaining the ethical standards and participant safety. It's also very important. Ensuring participant protection amid urgency. Researchers must balance the urgency of emergency research with rigorous, risk benefit assessments to protect participants, especially vulnerable populations, from exploitation. So it's very important with respect to the public health emergencies. Next is ethical consideration in research on sensitive topics. just like, managing emotional distress and confidentiality. So researchers must implement strategies to minimize harm, provide support, and ensure confidentiality by securing, storing data and limiting access to authorized personnel. It's very important. So training researchers for sensitive interactions. So comprehensive training equips researchers with the skills for, empathetic engagement, recognizing distress and maintaining privacy while, respecting cultural and individual differences. So it's also very important to describe the ethical consideration in research on sensitive topics. Next is developing a personal code of ethics for researchers. So also one of the major part that key components of a personal ethical framework. So a personal, ethical framework includes the integrity, respect for persons, beneficence, justice, accountability, transparency, respect for intellectual property, and commitment to continuous learning. The second is the harmonizing personal and institutional ethics. So researchers must align their personal ethics with institutional policies and regulatory standards to ensure the ethical coherence and foster shared responsibility in research. So these are basically the, personal code of ethics for researchers. It's maintainable. Ethical consideration in research funding applications. So, honesty and transparency in proposals. It's a very much required from the researcher side. So researchers must present, truthful information, avoiding exaggeration and misrepresentation to maintain integrity and trust with funding bodies. We have many funding bodies, just like DST and many other bodies. So we need to just ensure the truthful information and avoiding exaggeration and misrepresentation with, integrity for maintaining the integrity and the trust with the funding bodies. Avoiding exaggeration or misrepresentation, so accurate description of objectives and impacts are essential, ensuring claims are evidence based and risk are not understated. Okay, so that is very important. So it's related to the ethical consideration in research funding applications. Now moving to the next one, that is addressing ethical issues in data visualization. Because data visualization is one of the part that need to be take care of within the research and the novel work, whatever we are doing. So accurate and honest representation of data. So ethical data visualization demands truthful presentation without distortion, means without any distortion of the data. So the real data we need to use, avoiding manipulation of scales or selective data omission to ensure clarity and prevent misrepresentations. Second is avoiding misleading graphics. So researchers must avoid poor design choices like truncated axes or 3D effects that distort the data. Ensuring visualization techniques promote accurate understanding without confusion. So addressing ethical issues in data visualization is required. Next is ethical consideration in research involving minors online. So it's a, consent and assent in a digital environment. So researchers must secure both parental consent and minor assent using clear, accessible information and secure digital processes to ensure voluntary participations. And protecting privacy and safety. So implement robust data security, minimize the personal data collection, and provide transparent policies to safeguard minors' privacy and allow the withdrawal of consent. So it's a very important part with respect to the research that is involving the minors online. Next is the ethical use of biobanks and the human tissue samples. So this is also one of the part of the researchers whatever going on. So consent for storage and future use. So informed consent is essential, ensuring donors understand the purposes and potential future uses of their samples, with options to withdraw consent under certain conditions. Because it is also one of the part of ethical considerations. Privacy and data linkage concerns. So robust privacy measures, including de-identification and strict data sharing policies, are conflict to protect donor confidentiality and prevent unauthorized access. So the biobanks and human tissue samples are also one of the part that is taken care of the as ethical considerations while taking it. No, next one is the ethical considerations in research impact assessment. So we need to take care of balancing benefits and potential harms. So researchers must, evaluate both societal benefits and potential risks, ensuring benefits justify harms and implementing safeguards to minimize negative impacts. So I'm just telling, so firstly, you just need to build the research proposal. So that must be, true on behalf of whatever, you have taken or gathered the data to write a research proposal. Engaging stakeholders in impact evaluation. So active collaboration with the affected parties like communities and policymakers ensure diverse perspectives, transparency, and respect for community concerns. So ethical principles in research impact, also incorporating ethics that promotes social responsibility and aligns research with societal values, advancing knowledge while upholding the standards. So ethical consideration in research impact assessment basically follow balancing benefits and potential harms, engaging stakeholders and impact evaluations, and ethical principles in research impact. Now, moving to the next one, that is promoting ethical innovation in research. So, we need to just balancing creativity and ethics. So, ethical innovation requires fostering creativity while respecting participant rights and scientific integrity. It's very important. And proactive ethical assessment. So, researchers must, anticipate ethical implications of new technologies through early risk and benefit evaluations. Now we need to just go with the summary and key takeaways that on integrating ethics and research. So first is the recap of the best practices. So ethical research requires respect for autonomy, beneficence, justice, informed consent, confidentiality, conflict of interest management, and IRB oversight. That is institutional review board oversight. Importance of continuous ethical vigilance. So ongoing ethics education and vigilance ensure researchers adapt to emerging challenges and maintain public trust throughout the research life cycle. So it's very important to take these kind of ethical considerations in the research. Now moving to the next one, that is the question and answer and discussion, implementing ethical best practices. So first, that I know, addressing common challenges in ethical research. So researchers must overcome, issues like informed consent, conflict of interest, confidentiality, and adapting to new technologies to maintain integrity and compliance. Second is the sharing experiences and solutions for ethical practices. So open dialogue among teams and institutional support through policies and training enhance ethical standards and collective problem solving. So and these are basically some ethical practices with respect to the ethical considerations. These are one of the questions that is basically asked. Thank you for kind listening related to the topic. If you have any queries or any doubt, you may ask. Am I audible to you? Am I audible, ma'am? If there are questions, can ask.
Engaging presentation, the way you shared your experience and perspectives while linking them with global practices and emerging technology trends was truly enlightening.
Thank you, ma'am. You just got your voice.
Participants, if you have any queries or questions, you can ask. I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Shashi Gupta for sharing his valuable time, knowledge, and international experience with us today. With this, we conclude today's FDP session. Thank you all, and we look forward to your continued participation in the upcoming session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for organizers for organizing such a wonderful faculty development program from Integral University. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir, please.
Yeah.
I want to say, I want to apologize as the organizing team. I want to apologize that you have wait for the time
No,
with
no,
the
no
folding
issue.
hands.
No,
Actually,
no issue. I
we
just wait for the same. I don't know. There will be some, maybe
actually
some
we have the
technical
classes,
issue.
sir. We have the classes to be engaged with, so
Okay.
that's why that's delay have been happened. So
No,
with
no,
the
no
folding
issue,
hands,
sir.
we are apology for this mistake, sir.
No, no issue, sir. I was just waiting for the same. I
Okay,
just
okay.
thought there is some technical issues so that my voice is not there.
No, sir, not the technical issue. We have the classes to engage with, so that's
Okay.
why we have to manage both of the sides.
No
So
issue,
we
sir.
are sorry for it,
Thank you
sir.
so much, sir. Thank you
Okay,
so much for providing me this opportunity to deliver the talk in this faculty development program. Thank you so much.
okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.